Well, Pastor Kevin West was at a crossroads in his life, struggling with some demons, when he says an elderly stranger helped turn his life around, and he writes about it in his memoir, Angel in Aisle 3. Welcome to you this morning.
Thanks for having me today, Laura.
Now, this is your true story, inspired by your true story. Tell me, how the questionable path, what led you said you were initially a believer, you had grown up in the church. We all kind of get led astray sometimes. How was it for you?
Well, I grew up with a real proper foundation, a good family background, but when I hit my 20s after college, I got married, had 2 little daughters at the time, but corporate America became easy for me. So I became consumed with success and going after the things that really I thought were important because my priorities have changed. My order was completely out of control, and I needed to get my priorities back. But for a period of about 3 or 4 years, it was just completely out of control. Success was good. It looked like success at the time. I was immature. I was very aggressive.
You were a bank executive.
Yes.
You were really up there climbing that corporate ladder, and you kind of fell on the wrong track.
I did.
And you can admit that.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question. I made some bad decisions. I made some fraudulent loans by being in business with some of my customers. Because I was successful, it attracted other people that wanted to be successful. And when your character is moving out of control because your foundations are not right, then anything's open to you. And many things opened up that weren't healthy.
So with legal things looming, you credit an unlikely character, kind of an outcast in the community, for helping turn your life around. Tell me about Don.
Don was a man that really was at a point in my life where it was a major transition, because what happened one night, my wife looked at me and she says, "We don't even know you anymore." And something pierced inside of my heart. So the next morning I went in and resigned my position from the bank, not realizing there was going to be some legal and criminal charges that were going to be filed as well. I knew there was things out there, but I didn't know how far they would go. That morning I resigned from the bank, but previously, a couple of years prior to that, I bought a little grocery store, Corner Market, as an investment. And I didn't know I'd be running that thing a couple of years later, but I started running the grocery store. And one day, while I was just diving into the Bible, I had the Bible on my counter there at the store, a man walks in with tattered clothes, hadn't shaved, showered. He really looked like an outcast in society. In fact, many people in society knew he was an outcast, and he came in and asked for some credit. And I said, certainly, because my pendulum had swung the other direction. I went from being extremely selfish, I'm going to give it all away now. And so he comes in and he asks for credit, and I said, certainly. And the Bible was open in the book of John. So he comes over and he takes my Bible and he says, "Are you getting anything good out of that book?" And I said, certainly. So he flips the Bible around, flips it back to Genesis in a matter of about 15 minutes, took me through the whole Bible and showed me Christ. And at that point, something inside of me went, I don't even care what this guy looks like. It doesn't matter how he smells. I've got to have something that he has.
And he began to mentor you through this roller coaster of life, and at the same time, he transformed as well.
He did. It was amazing because I never had ever mentioned one time about his appearance or his smell, and he really never judged me about my decisions that I'd made. And during the times where my life was kind of going a roller coaster and legal problems, dealing with attorneys, dealing with the criminal system and the legal system, but also you have to keep in mind I was very successful in financially during those few years prior. Now I'm not. So now I'm having to make decisions and learning to live life again from a foundation of faith and trust rather than just go create it for myself. So he was there to help point me in some right directions. And one day we started a ministry actually at this grocery store delivering groceries to the senior citizens. And I asked Don one day in the state he was in, I said, "Would you like to deliver some groceries?" He delivers the groceries. A few weeks later he comes in without ever mentioning it again. He comes in shaved and he's showered. He's changing clothes.
What message would you like readers to get out of Angel in Aisle 3?
Everybody goes through transitions of life, and whether you're self-inflicting like mine was, or you're affected by other people's decisions around you, we're all going through change and transition. My suggestion would be is never look past the answer, because I was really seeking for some guidance. I needed help.
People are praying for signs.
Oh, yes. And he came in the door, and in my typical pattern before my transformation, I don't know that I would have given him the time of day to receive him. I would have talked with him and probably said, "What can I do for you?" But I never would have probably been able to extract from him the real gold that was in Don.
You're hoping by your story that people will be open to an awakening, and whoever that conduit, whoever that ambassador may be.
Absolutely. And everybody's going through, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people are going through family problems, marital, financially, life, how to raise children. And this book, in all the chapters, we address how to live life practically in everyday life.
through your own story. People
Yeah.
can find your book at
kevinwest.org. It's in a lot of all the bookstores across the country, Amazon.com.
Amazon, of
but our main our website that they can get all of our information is kevinwest.org.
Pastor Kevin West. We certainly do appreciate your time. Angel and Aisle 3, we certainly appreciate your time.
Thank you, Laura.